It is complete chaos at the border, but according to the deep state, it is all going exactly to plan. Have you noticed who Donald Trump is targeting first? It is not the regular families who decided to pack up and self-deport. No, the deep state isn't worried about them, and frankly, neither is Trump. The real threat, the people they are desperately trying to keep inside our borders, are the bad hombres. We are talking about the terrorists, the drug lords, the rapists, and the gang members. Every single time Trump tries to kick them out, the radical left throws a tantrum and blocks it. Why? Because they need them. They need an army on standby to trigger the ultimate chaos, to fuel the riots, and to pull off the next big event. Trump saw this coming months ago. He practically gave us the playbook, even dropping hints about the Insurrection Act, because he knew a massive crime against this country was being cooked up. That is exactly why he took his fight all the way to the Supreme Court. He wanted the rules set in stone before the left unleashed their chaos, ensuring he wouldn't be bogged down by lawfare and endless lawsuits. Now that the High Court has ruled, the trap is set. Trump has the absolute authority to deploy the National Guard, call up the military, and invoke the Insurrection Act the second things go sideways. Don't expect the left to trigger the panic buttons during the midterms. They already know they are going to lose, and their usual cheating mechanisms just won't cut it this time. Instead, their real play happens after the midterms. Look at Nancy Pelosi suddenly claiming Trump is going to manipulate the voting machines. It is pure projection. They are setting up the legal roadblocks for a post-election showdown. And don't think a wave of indictments will solve everything overnight. Look at Jim Comey or Letitia James. They drag these legal battles out for years. Comey just pushed his hearing all the way to October. They are playing the delay game, trying to stall everything, even trying to stop Trump from finishing the massive ballroom project before the election. So when does the real storm hit? Is it right before the vote, or in that volatile window between the election and the inauguration? If the indictments don't fully land until deep into 2027, the deep state thinks they have time to burn the place down. But Trump has been running a masterclass in counterinsurgency. This goes all the way back to his first term, when the establishment tried to pull off a literal coup against a sitting president. Trump captured the evidence, quietly invoked the Insurrection Act behind the scenes, and ensured the military remained the ultimate safeguard of the republic while he monitored the bad actors. Then came the Biden years, what Trump rightly views as his true second term. While Biden was the public face in the White House, Trump was working to wake up the American populace. He needed the public to witness the total destruction, the weaponized systems, and the open border madness with their own eyes. It worked. The awakening was so massive, it completely overwhelmed the left's election rigging machinery. Now, in what is effectively his third term, Trump is finalizing the counterinsurgency. He knows the left won't go quietly. They're going to use illegal operatives, they're going to deploy Antifa, and they might even pull the plug with a massive cyber attack. You can already see the dry runs happening in small pockets, from Clearwater, Florida, to Newark, New Jersey, all the way to California. But the people are finally seeing the truth, and they are watching Trump literally rebuild the nation, turning the fountains back on in Washington, and preparing to clean house once and for all. And you have to ask yourself, why is he fixing the fountains in Washington? Because he is preparing to wash away the swamp muck once and for all. The deep state thought they could break this country, but Trump is already putting the pieces back together right under their noses. They are terrified because they know their window is closing and their little theater project is falling apart. They wanted a narrative of total collapse. But instead, the American people are watching a restoration. The radical left is running out of options, and a cornered establishment is a dangerous one. They see the crowds, they see the momentum, and they know that the old tricks, The media blackouts, the manufactured crises aren't working anymore. So what is their next move? They are going to try to flip the script and blame the chaos on the patriots. They want you to think that enforcing the law is the real threat to democracy. It's the classic playbook. Project your own sins onto your opponent and hope nobody notices the sleight of hand. But the public isn't buying the Premier League gaslighting anymore. Every time the left tries to launch another investigation or cook up another headline, it just validates exactly what Trump warned us about. They are playing checkers while the counterinsurgency is playing grandmaster chess. The infrastructure is in place. The military leadership knows the score. And the American people are fully awake to the reality of the situation. So keep your eyes on the horizon as we head into the final stretch. The delays, the legal circus, the sudden local disruptions, it is all white noise from a failing regime. The deep state players can try to stall the ballroom. They can try to stretch out the court dates. And they can try to mobilize their shadow army in the streets. But the authority has already shifted. The plans are locked in, and no amount of lawfare is going to stop what is coming. They wanted a fight, but Donald Trump already built the arena. And don't think for a second that the corporate media is going to report any of this. They are in total damage control mode right now, trying to distract you with whatever manufactured crisis they can pull out of their hats. They want you looking over here at the shiny object, while over there, the real chess pieces are being moved into position. They are terrified because they know the moment the truth fully breaks through, the entire house of cards comes tumbling down. That is why you are seeing these sudden, unexplainable policy shifts from the Biden administration and their allies. They are scrambling. They are trying to pass 11th hour regulations, trying to lock in their bureaucrats, and trying to secure their funding streams before the hammer drops. It is the frantic scurrying of a political elite that realizes the gig is up. They know that the legal protections they built for themselves are starting to erode under the weight of the Supreme Court's rulings. But here is the bottom line. You cannot stop a movement whose time has come. The counterinsurgency isn't just about one man in a red hat. It is about tens of millions of Americans who looked at the swamp, looked at the weaponized agencies, and said, no more. Trump laid the groundwork. He secured the institutional leverage, and he gave the power back to the people. So as we watch this play out over the coming months, don't lose heart when the headlines get louder and the distractions get weirder. That is just the death rattle of the old guard. The fountains are running, the plans are moving forward, and the swamp is about to be drained for good. Stay tuned, because Primetime is just getting started. Look at how fast they are moving to clean up the physical appearance of the capital city. Why do you think they are scrubbing the marble and getting those Washington fountains running after years of letting them collect green slime? Because the stage is being set for a national reset, and Trump likes his venues looking immaculate before he cuts the ribbon. The deep state bureaucrats thought they could permanently crash this system, break the country's spirit, and leave us with a decayed, unlivable husk of an empire. But instead, they are forced to sit back and watch a complete restoration happen right outside their office windows. They wanted a full-blown third world collapse to justify their grip on power. But the American people are tuning in every single night to a live broadcast of a national comeback. The old guard has officially run out of tricks. The media blackouts are failing to contain the signal, and their desperate little policy maneuvers are looking less like governance and more like a frantic corporate liquidation. They spent years trying to rig the chessboard, but they completely failed to realize that the counterinsurgency already secured the entire perimeter. So brace yourselves as we head straight into the teeth of this storm. Because the legal circus is going to get louder. The establishment's desperate tantrums are going to get weirder. And the shadow army they built is going to try to provoke something ugly. But the high court has spoken. The executive triggers are locked and loaded, and the swamp is officially running out of time. The panic in Washington right now is palpable, and you can smell the desperation all the way down Pennsylvania Avenue. They know that the timeline they tried so hard to control has completely slipped through their fingers. The deep state bureaucrats thought they could tie Donald Trump up in courtrooms until the end of time, hoping that their endless lawfare would keep him distracted while they finished executing their plans. But instead, they managed to wake up a sleeping giant, and now they are the ones running out of clock. Look at how the entire narrative is shifting under their feet. The very institutions they weaponize to protect themselves are starting to fracture from the inside out, as rank-and-file patriots within the agencies refuse to go down with a sinking ship. The corporate media can keep running their scripted headlines, and the talking heads can keep pretending everything is under control. But the ratings don't lie, and neither do the empty streets outside their studios. The American people have completely tuned out the noise, and they are focused strictly on the final outcome. We are entering the most critical phase of this entire operation. This is the moment where the globalists realize they can no longer win by playing by the rules, even the rules they wrote themselves. That is why the next few months are going to be wild, unpredictable, and frankly, a bit intense. They are going to try to disrupt the supply chains. They might try to manufacture another localized emergency. And they will absolutely use their media proxies to scream about an impending crisis. But remember what we talked about. The chessboard is already locked down. The legal precedents are set. The military framework is established. And the counterinsurgency is steps ahead of every single move they make. They wanted to turn this country into a permanent managed decline. But instead, they are about to witness the greatest political turnaround in human history. The arena is built, the audience is ready, and the final act is about to begin. And you can bet your bottom dollar they are watching the calendar with absolute dread. Every single bureaucratic delay they try to cook up is just a temporary Band-Aid on a bursting dam. They know that the public has completely lost faith in their weaponized infrastructure. And once that trust is gone, the illusion of their authority vanishes right along with it. They wanted to keep the American people trapped in a state of perpetual fear and compliance. But instead, they accidentally handed over the ultimate red pill. Now you see the true panic setting in across the elite echo chambers. They realize that their media empires can no longer dictate what is real and what is fake. The independent truth is breaking through the static, and the old guard is utterly powerless to stop the signal. They are looking at a country that is refusing to participate in its own destruction. A populace that is actively choosing strength over surrender, and a leadership structure that is ready to enforce the constitutional order without apology. This is the exact reason why the globalist network is starting to look so erratic on the international stage. Their domestic operations are failing, their narratives are imploding at home, so they are desperately trying to stir up conflicts abroad to create a massive global distraction. They want the focus off the capital city, off the borders, and off the quiet, systematic dismantling of their shadow networks. But the American people are too smart for the old wag the dog playbook now. The pieces are fully arranged, the trap is entirely secure, and the final moves are being executed with absolute precision. No matter how loud the radical left screams, no matter how many legal stunts they pull in the 11th hour, the momentum is